Morning guys, Chad here. Welcome back to the Hidden Spring Farm. Basically in this episode, I want to accomplish a few things on my sawmill shack build here. Because I now have these posts up with these huge massive beams, I want to get some rafters up on top to go from beam to beam. That'll give it a little bit more structure. And once I get it so that it's not so wonky, because right now there's no support, there's no structure except for these cross beams that I have with spikes in the ground, so it's not very strong. And we have a few days here of some really nice weather, and I'm going to get the rafters on, and then maybe in this 6-foot section right here and in that 12-foot section right there, I'm going to start framing the walls. That'll give it a lot more structure and stability, and it'll stop it from doing one of these, And then I'm going to get enough rafters on at least to cover the cutting head of the mill. This is my ultimate goal right now before the bad weather comes in the winter and the fall too. This needs to get covered from all up in here. And that's the first step in getting the sawmill covered. The next step will be building the posts all along the backside there and basically running the rafters from that beam down to this future beam, and that'll give this whole entire area here coverage also. But the priority is the coverage of the cutting head, because I'm tired of using the tarp, and the tarp gets blown in the wind, and it's just not a perfect system. So the quicker I can do that, the better. I'm trying to figure out the bird's mouth cut, so I personally am not a professional builder, so I just like to use the scribing method rather than the calculating method. So I just put the 2x8 up on where I want it to go, and then I'm going to just use a simple level to make it plumb and mark a line. I would normally start making the scribe on the very end, but because this last 5.5-foot beam is a bit wonky on the corner there, and it's not exactly at the right height right there, so what I'll be doing is just cutting a board and mounting it on top all the way across there. That's a bit better. So you don't want all the weight sitting on that corner right there. So you have to make kind of a cut like this and a cut like this, and that's how you're going to get this to sit right. I'm not a professional at it, but I'm just going to be putting a level on it like this so that it's plumb with this wood here. And now I know where the bird's mouth is going to sit. Approximately like that. And then I can simply take my level, sit it like that. You can see the bubble's perfectly level. So I've marked my line there, and I'm going to cut it out now and see how it fits. The best way that I've learned through trial and error for cutting these bird mouse cuts is just using a circular saw, and then I just cut the rest out with the handsaw. Some people use a jigsaw or something like that, but I'm fine doing it this way. I'm just getting the first few started with screws just because it's still a bit shaky, like a bit wonky. So I just want to get it a little bit stable, but I will be switching over to the nail gun because that's a whole lot easier. I'd say that's pretty much like a glove. You don't want the cut to be too far out that way because it'll look ugly from the outside. That's as good as it's going to get. So I'm going to use this rafter as my template. If I'm doing 16-inch on center rafters, I'm going to have to do this 36 more times. That's why I just make one as a template, and then it's easy to mark after that. That's why I'm saying it's going to take quite a long time to get all the 36 rafters cut and installed. So that's why what I'm going to do is just do enough rafters to cover the cutting head. That way I can work on the structure of the wall over there, and then I can start with the metal roofing even before I finish all the rest of the rafters. That way the sawmill cutting head is at least covered out of the weather. I did break down and spend $400 on lumber from the lumber yard, and that's simply because I'm at a crunch time. It's already pretty much fall, and there's no way that I'm going to be able to harvest enough trees, mill enough trees that are the size of an 8-inch rafter and get them installed in time before winter. So I just made the executive decision to go ahead and just spend a few $100 to get at least the sawmill portion covered. This section will be a whole lot easier if I just move the sawmill cutting head out of the way. So far I have 6 rafters on, and I just need 5 more in order to cover the cutting head. So I got 12 rafters up, and I just want to check to see how wobbly the thing is. See, it sturdies it up a lot just by putting the rafters on. It's still wobbly over there. I can see it moving. Before I start doing the roof, because I might have to stand up there, and if you stand up there, you know, it gets like this. You don't want that, especially with my big body. So what I think I'm going to do right now is take off all of these braces. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. And I'm going to build a wall structure from this post to this post, and then from this post to this post. That'll really give it some anti-tipping structure and make it a lot more stable for me to start doing the roof purlins and the metal roof. I'm going to save these things because I made these things to spike in there, eh? So I can use them when I'm doing the back wall. I'm not just going to discard them. That's a lot stronger with this wall and strapping. And it'll get even stronger and more stable if I was to put some boards on the other side. I think I do have some boards left over from the workshop build. I'll have to see if they're the right height. But if I get a bunch of boards on, there's no way that it can go like this, eh? I was actually saving all of these pine boards to finish the workshop. You know, I was gonna rip them down into the battens. And I'm not sure if I'll have enough. These are 10-foot lengths. I'm not exactly sure if I'll have enough to do the whole board, but I figured I'll use it here, and it'll be easier for me in the future to mill my own battens for the workshop and for this sawmill shelter. But putting the boards on like this makes it a whole lot stronger. And if I'm going to be doing the roof, I need it to be strong, you know? I always like to use screws when I mount these boards also because A, I feel like I get a tighter fit, but also, if I ever want to remove the boards, it's easy. With a nail, you're going to be hard-pressed to remove the board without damaging. No right or wrong, really, it's just my choice. There you go, at least the one side's done. This is just almost 12 feet, so really I just needed 12 boards. And of course I followed the roof line because it's pretty sturdy now, like it's strong. It's not moving nowhere. But if I still shake it and move it, this side's not moving, but that side's moving. So that's no good. But of course, once I get the roof purlins on, it's gonna help make it stable also. There, that's what it looks like from the inside. Maybe you can get a better idea. This little short wall here is also gonna get closed in. But then that post right there, all the way to that post, is gonna stay open. And that's how I'm gonna go in and out with the logs. But the whole thing's gonna get roofed in. So you can really get an idea of this closed in section. Don't forget, this part right here is supposed to get all walled in also. So technically, once I'm standing under the roof here, this is going to be a wall, or at least that was my initial thought. And then this is the middle beams, and there's going to be another roof that goes all the way down to here. That's a big job, man, for somebody like me doing it all alone. I'm up for the challenge though. So I'm just going to get some water. And then I'm going to start in on the roof. It's going to be fun. You're going to see it at least partly covered so it won't get rained on. Let me give you an idea of the amount of space here. I know a lot of the people who have been following these videos have been wondering, is it big enough? Is it wide enough? Is it long enough? Are you going to have space to walk around? And probably this episode here, you're going to answer all those questions because you're going to actually see how it sits. But if you look at the very edge of the mill here, if I measure it, it's 8 feet to this wall. So what am I going to do with 8 feet here? That's why I'm saying this is going to be a little work area. I'll probably construct some kind of a bench. Maybe I'll have a bunch of shelving here. I'll be able to put my chainsaws here and all my woodworking stuff. You know, when you do a lot of milling, you need to have water jugs. And you need to have windshield washer fluid for the winter. So you need to have a stock of that. You need to place it somewhere. This is going to be a great little portion of the sawmill shed. Even the space from the edge of the mill here to the front wall. If I look at from the wall to the mill, it's just about 4 feet. So that's why I have lots of room to walk around here. And also, I'm not exactly quite sure what am I going to do with this fronted space. Am I going to continue a roof down here? And I'm just not quite sure. I definitely won't have enough lumber to do that this year. But yeah, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea as to the look of this thing. Little chickadee taking a bath. That looks about good right there, because I will be putting kind of a fascia board right here. So that's going to probably come out to there, and then 1 inch overhang. That's good enough. It looks like it's all in line all down the side, so good to go. Got 2 rows on. I'd say about 3 more rows, and it'll be enough to cover the sawmill head, which is what I'm trying to accomplish with this section here. I'm on my way. Okay. Trying to fit my fat body up here ain't easy. 16 inch on center, my body's bigger than 16 inches. So check it out, guys. I finished all of the tin basically covering this cutting head. So now the cutting head is completely protected from the weather. Maybe since I have a few more of these boards, I'll finish this wall from this post to that post and get that covered in. My legs are kind of burning from going up on the ladder so much. So I need to take a break from that. I'll do something else and then go back to it. I'm just going to leave this one on because it's not moving this way, but because I'm at the end of the roof, it's a bit wonky. Especially as I carry it over to this post, this is really wonky. Actually, this is out of plumb too. I think when I was putting on the beams, it pushed it a little bit too far, so as I put the rafter up here, I'm going to attach it to that side first, and then I'm going to pull this one in as I attach the rafter. Yeah. Getting there. Big time. At least this is covered. I'm so happy about that. Yeah. So I'm out of boards. I don't have one last board to rip down to that size. But I have a bunch of 12-foot boards down on the other end, and when I work on that wall over there, maybe there'll be one half board left for me to finish this section. I framed this as tight as I could to make it, aesthetically pleasing. This is actually going to make a really nice work area, The mill is right here, and I have a lot of room here. Plan to make some kind of a workbench, that I can do my chainsaw sharpening and any fine-tuning work that I need to do. That way it's all right here. I'll get all my chainsaws hung up on the wall. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that, but I'll think of something. Anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys tuning in to this massive sawmill shelter build. It's been an adventure to say the least. I think it was a good decision to purchase some 2x8s because I finished all this in a couple days. And if I had to mill my own, go get trees, that's probably going to be several weeks just doing that, and then trying to get everything milled. And I mean, we're talking like October by the time I'm going to be getting this roof finished. And in the fall, we got so many other things going on the farm too. We're going to have the leaf cleanup. We're going to have to set up all the animals for the winter, and it's going to be hectic getting everything ready before the snow comes. I can't just focus on the sawmill build, so I think that was a good decision. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and hit the like button for me, please. Thanks so much, and we'll see you on the next episode.